The stars never give enough light. It's all about destiny. Yours, mine, the entire world's. Let's see. Enjoy what's left of the color green while you can. That there's the guppy hut. Might be some gill-catching gear in there. Shot. Hit him with both sticks. Right in the face. Knuckle pie. Always good to have some wood scrap like that on hand. There's not much left of what we used to call our world. You could put that to good use. Look at that plastic scrap, just waiting for someone to do something with it. Be gentle, this mount's a breather. Another quarrel spot. Back in the days, there were things here. Now, it's all gone. Who can stand against that? Head on. Right where it cuts. Every day is a new chance to fulfill your destiny. Look at that metal scrap over there. Hold on to that. It's so active out here with the light.
What I miss?
Out of Date says there'll be consequences of the war, but there are more pressing matters at hand. The last World Eater has been left undisturbed with the tree while you focused on the war. He guessed someone with your dark perspective and key would prioritize resolving the tribe war before facing the World Eaters. Regardless, Out of Date is grateful the tribe war is over. Out of Date understands the road has been rough, but you already know what's left to end this journey, and it'll be tough. You're the only one that's strong enough to face the last World Eater. The New World Order can only be achieved by someone with a dark perspective, even if that means letting the final World Eater attack the tree too. Only time will tell what the future holds, and if it will bring a lasting peace for those that make it to the end. Out of Date says the word about what you've done so far is spreading. The tribes haven't lost hope yet. He appreciates what you've done so far, but unfortunately he's had urgent news from his friend Wiz in the northwest. He knows you're good-hearted enough to give Wiz the support he needs. He says he'll point you in the right direction, but finding Wiz and making sure he gets what he needs is up to you. That doesn't sound good. Out of Date's hunch is real. The Merc Puff is up next. Out of Date says that Wiz is worried now that the Northwest World Eater is stepping up its activity. He explains that Wiz is working on an undersurf vessel in order to get to the World Eater, but needs help to get it done. Out of Date suggests that you should head northwest as fast as possible and see what you can do to help. He's happy to help. Has plenty to do, so no worries. Don't distract this beastie. It's working. For a beastie, this mount is so gentle. Wood scrap's great for building things. See that rubber scrap? That'll add a bit of bounce for you. Wonder where we can get some ride shoes for the mount. You've discovered Fanaki leaves, the densest jungle in the land. Better get hacking. Whoa, that's some stronky metal scrap there. Nice. Some barked wood scrap for you. Plastic scrap stays forever, but maybe you can make something out of it. This might be the end of everything as we know it. The Surge Surf Factory. Keep your eye out for Wiz while you're here. Let's see. Look at the notices on that board. No one paid much attention to them, it looks like. Wiz should be around here somewhere, probably taking care of his guppos. A surge surf factory was one of the cleaner ways to make power, until the surf turned into goo and clogged it all up, that is. The power comes from turning the movement of the surf into surge sparks. Sometimes science is beyond belief. There are sure to be more tracks around here, maybe by the shore. Wooz isn't easy on the tongue, but I think he says he's happy to see a friendly face. Not too many of those around these days. Says it's good to see you again. He's Wiz. You might remember him from the old days when he let you try his octopod? Wiz remembers you were such a cheery kid, and he's glad to see that light hasn't faded from you, despite the years. But Wiz understands it was a long time ago, and memories get murkier the deeper you go. But says it helps to have friends with you to plumb those depths. They've been here for you since you were a kidling, but when you left, you also chose to distance yourself from everyone that cared for you. Wiz says our memory keeps things for us, preserves them until we are ready to face them again. He knows you've returned to face Looper Lupin, and that confrontation is as inevitable as the tides. He's not surprised that the loss of your family could plunge you into the depths forever, but you've always been able to rise like a bubble to the surface, no matter what. He knows that though the tides of history may push you in one direction, you can always lay your own course. He feels you've deserved revenge because of how you were wronged. You've suffered enough to make him pay.
Oh, yes! That is deliciously dark of you.
No, you need less dark, not more!
Yes, the dark is as easy as cake. Dark, dark cake.
Just spit it out, please! That's awful!
Awfully good, you mean?
Asks if you ever think about freedom and whether any of us really has it. Did you make the decisions that brought you here, or are you just a pawn of fate? Glad to hear that. He only wishes he was that sure about himself. Sad that the world is close to death. Wonders if he might be able to hold out a bit longer in an octopod. Wonders why you felt like kicking the world so hard when it was already down. Fascinated you wound up working with the Jagni. He thinks of them not as makers, but takers. Just wishes they'd collect their own things instead of taking them from others. But that's not nearly as important as this. Wiz says that you should let the past dwell in the depths, but there's something else down there too, gnawing at the Tree of Life. He's named it the Merc Puff. This is why he's tinker-tonkering with the octopod. But the lid got stuck, so he needs a big enough tug twister to open it up and let you a-go-in. He can't leave the surge station, so you must help him find a tug twister. There's a wound-up mecha fingro in the mecha stadium that still has one stuck on its back. Find it, and you'll find the tug twister. It's definitely made to lend a helping hand and do the heavy lifting. Toxanol records mention it as an automaton made for moving bionucleus matter into storage areas. Did you hear thunder? That's some sharp wood scrap there. Watch for splinters. Scrapalicious. Bang Shelter 11E. Just the place to ride out a storm. Wood scrap. The one kind of scrap you could actually still find growing. An old home. Could be something to it. Tell it to gallop. Don't know what that e-waste was. Don't want to point a finger, but the mech stadium is near here. Crack-a-doodle. Super effective. Great shot. Bolted shut. That's more than stuck. Seems like a peculiar item. You need to believe how serious this is if you want to have any effect on it. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Are you scared yet? It's getting dark. Ooh, a biohazard like that can make you real sick. You need to line up the switches so they match. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. You need to loosen the bolts without unsettling it. Just a few moves left. Make them count. That's it. The tug twister's loose. Let's hope it turned the grabbing hand into a helping hand, too. Blackness covers the world like a blanket. handy. He believed the tug twister would do the trick, but now realizes brute force won't do the trick. You need something slick. Well, he means slick as in greasy, so you can lube the hinges of the lid. He can't argue against the fact your fur's shiny. He says the lid should open if you sprinkle grease it. Problem is, he's all out. He knows his old friend Choo Choo always keeps his grease sprinklers well filled. He should have an extra that you can borrow. He stresses that you should come back as soon as you've retrieved the grease sprinkler. The Merc Puff is crunching bark by the minute. Wiz heard he's currently stranded at the end of the line, so it should be easier to track him down now compared to when he's running rails. The oil claimed this land a long time ago. Nice. Metal scrap. You can always use that. That's a chug hut. Probably no chug-chugs in it, but you never know. It's a ride, not a friend, right? Chop, chop. You can always find some use for rubber scrap. Hey, you could probably make something glossy with plastic scrap. There's Vungo's place, a den of disrepute. Give it a little kick. growl it into a higher gear. You've reached the end of the line. Bet you can find Choo Choo here. Who'd leave rubber scrap lying around like that? Let's see. Choo Choo knew you would make it to him one day. All you had to do was follow the steel path. The rails might be getting rusty, but eventually they all converge on him. Claims rails are like rules. If you follow them the way you're supposed to, everything good in life can roll your way. Says you followed the rails to where you need to be, but tracks have switches in them too. The question is then, will you keep on the same track or look for a way to hit that switch? He thinks you're on a dark path right now, but there's no reason you can't find a wheelhouse and get yourself turned around. Whichever way you go, he wants you to know that the rails never steer you wrong. Stick to them and they always bring you right to where you're meant to be. Wants to know if you've ever regretted taking one track in life instead of another. If you could go back, would you switch tracks or keep chugging along the one you're on? Likes your sureness, the way you keep at it like a chug-chug with no way to reverse. Feels like the world's on a runaway chug straight over a cliff. Says the world might have lasted longer if you hadn't stomped on the go pedal so hard. Thinks you shouldn't work with the Jagni. They once tried to bolt one of their masks to his face. They did an awful job of it. Took forever to get those bolts out. But let's not get derailed. Says he's surprised to see anyone this far out. But sometimes the wrong train does take you to the right station. As you can see, he didn't plan to make a stop here, but now that he had to, he's really happy to see you. He says his name is Choo Choo. He's been off track since the world started dying, but he's trained his mind to stay positive regardless of the situation. Thinks that's fine, but there's no path in this world that's not been already made. He's convinced the tracks are like the paths our lives take, and you must deal with the outcome, even if you didn't lay them yourself. This time, though, he was sidetracked and needs a new wing nut to get back on track. Wing nuts are easy to find, as they're fitted on any in-front chugger-chugger out there. The challenge is taking them off, so he's happy you're here to do it for him. Says you're just like he used to be, a one-track mind, but going the right way.
Getting brighter every time.
Oh, no. Go look at yourself in a mirror.
Can't. Everyone you looked in cracked.
That was only one time.
I have a shop full of shattered mirrors that says you're wrong.
At least you can feed this ride grass. That's a putty-upper plaza. Some were actually trying to build something before it all started to end. There's some bouncy rubber scrap over there. Rubber scrap is too much fun. So stretchy. The wingnut chug tunnel. It goes on forever. You can't wait to get out, can you? Finders keepers. Just a few moves left. Make them count. You need to show your mount who's boss. Every little bit helps. Hey, this is a chug depot. Might be able to catch a chugger here. This thing has a mind of its own. Wheel the control box handles to buzz the wire. Wired up and ready to go. Keeps the sun out of your eyes. Small things for your big ideas. You need to swivel the globus's bearings. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Choo-Choo says he knew you'd come through. If someone makes a stop at your station, it's for a good reason. But he understands no one gets their tracks greased for free. He'd be happy to part with his spare grease sprinkler, as he believes it's a great fit for any of your business that needs to be unstuck. He keeps it safe in a box on the handcart, in case of emergency. Wants to keep it there in case of an emergency, but realized it's long overdue already. The world crumbling and all. Choo-Choo says you should help yourself to the grease sprinkler. It's a versatile tool from the bygone, a last of its kind, so don't let it go to waste.
Koi, malap.
He's convinced you'll put it to good use, as there are lots of stuckies out there that need greasing to open.
Muy canto pasa bata chuchuchu.
Says he's glad to see it in good hands, rough as they might be.
Can you feel that? It's getting dusky in here.
Hold up! There's no need to rush into things.
Sounds like you're just flat out lazy to me.
Lazy, because I fight against the dark.
Because you're against just getting things done.
Ko, sam.
Choo-Choo says he can't wait to get out of this place.
Karen bata sapa.
So, says you covered the important things already. Don't forget the past. Learn from it.
Pore bata tu.
You shouldn't worry about smashing up the box. Choo-Choo has no use for it now.
O katsu mo to shuika ba.
Choo-Choo says he feels strongly about helping his next, just like you did for him.
Koi, papatis ba.
He's convinced there was a bigger reason you met. Sometimes the wrong train will take you to the right place.
Ko sita ba.
He believes you've got what it takes to make a difference. He's witnessed it himself.
Kato.
Figures everyone chooses their own path. The longer you ride the rails, though, the easier it is to travel with friends.
Papatis ba.
Choo-Choo's thrilled you found the Ark. Just imagine how much faster than a chug that thing must be. And no rails needed.
So takuto chuchu.
Bets it could fly circles around any chug yard. Makes him dizzy to think about it.
Kompata.
With the world ending and all the chugs going with it, it's fun to think about what kinds of yards the Ark could take you to instead.
No kasabat malap.
Hopes you'll be careful with the Ark. That's the last one around these parts.
Muy canto pasa bata chuchuchu.
Wonders who you might call aboard the Ark with you.
So what we have here is someone looking for a way out if everything fails.
What really happens when you make a conscious choice to be alone is that you abandon a part of your life that was supposed to be filled by someone else.
Let's agree that a conscious choice is better than an unconscious one. It's only when you stop listening to your own thoughts that you're truly alone.
But it's hard to discover the astonishing light of your own being if you are too lonely or close to darkness.
Regardless, you'll never lose the company of yourself. At least you'll have that all the way to the end.
そうだけど
Hopes you figure out someone better to ride the Ark with you, if that's possible.
パラマロ
Choo Choo says he's ready to pack up and leave.
ラコト
Wishes you goodbye. Just be glad that beastie let you on. If you had enough time and the world wasn't falling apart, you could consider... That's unique. A string plonk that survived the long ago. Its tune pushers were used to inflict ear feels. Let's find out if it still works. You need to get the notes in. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Music to anyone's ear. Time to ride. That there is a fume foundry where toxanol processed go juice. Couldn't stand another hour of daylight. Wiz says that there's no plan to confront the Merkpuff until the octopod is properly armed.
Kaltenden Rico Iniamero. Nan.
He knows you'll need something that packs enough boom to put a dent in that shell, or better yet, head. Pyro sticks will do the trick.
Kalay Avontul.
He says his old friend Boom makes all things that go bang.
Katrina Chala.
There's a rumor that some of Boom's pyro sticks shot off and are out there roaming free.
Monoyam Nan Oko Potayaka. Kalay Avontul.
You should keep an eye on the horizon for pyros. If you're fast, you have a shot at catching some of them before they go off.
Uliana.
It's like a bomb on a stick that moves really fast. Could this thing steer itself? That looks like an unbanged pyro stick on the loose. Better catch it before it goes off. Whatever you do, do it right, or don't do it at all. Been taking your vitamins? You need to point its face in the right direction. The pyrosticks will cause a bang, but targeting is on you. At least now you have a chance to hurt the Merc Puff where it counts. He hopes so, as there's no Plan B, or more correctly, Plan C. Out of Date has named this Plan B. Plan A was to take on the World Eaters by foot, or flaps in this case. Turns out swimming down there was a bad idea. Wiz has been working on another cannon, but instead of pyrosticks, it squirts guppos, scaly distractions for anyone with an appetite disorder, and irresistible for the Merc Puff in particular.
kapining kai kalai. Non antika urvaya unara.
Seems the best way to find guppos is go talk to Gil. He has a natural sonar and knows where the guppos sub the surf.
Inya meri artikalo ala kantia.
This means you'll have to go visit Gil at Burblebottom. Find Gil and he'll be able to tell you where to find the guppos.
No dam.
Guppos are lively beings and they're fast too. They're here, there and everywhere. Or at least they used to be. The tribes need someone to unite them. That's a good find. Yippee-ki-yay! Let's see. This is Burblebottom, residence of Gil. Happy to finally get to meet you. He's seen a lot of things wash up on his miniature shore, but nothing as exciting as you. Figures it's impossible. As bad as the air might be, the goo is even worse. It must have been upstream only to get to this point in your histo-future. But which way are you going now? With the flow or against? Once you see which way the waters flow, it's a lot easier to go where they're going, even if that's over the edge of the world. Either way, it's a shame the surf has gotten so nasty. Thinks life is like trying to ride a wave. You need to pick the right one, but you don't really know which one that is until you're on top of it. Better to ride a wave than let the perfect one pass you by. Wonders who would want to. The right wave takes you where you want to go. Figures he's ridden his last wave, though, what with the world coming to an end. Doesn't understand why you made the goo gooier. Can't stomach how you hang with the Jagni. They keep so much stuff for themselves that they could share with the world. claims they have way more than they need, and the rest of the world suffers for it. But none of that's nearly as important as enjoying the day, right? He never drank from this pond because of the disgusting things done there. Even the fish stopped drinking here after the pollution made the surf mucked and the air blocked his gills. He figures the Tree of Life isn't drinking either. Or, well, that's not true. He said it does drink, as it has no other choice. It's a tree, but it's forced to drink poison. Figures you're right, but that doesn't mean he has to drink that. His friend Wiz needs guppos for one reason or another, and Gil is ready to point you in the right direction. But here, you're only going to find dead ones. He's pretty sure Wiz wants them alive. Well, at least the ones that aren't already rotting. If you head in the right direction, you'll find a clean enough bit of surf to snag yourself some guppos. Then you can get them to Wiz for whatever he has in mind. He doesn't have any guppos, and Wiz is particular about the kind he needs. You seem to have made a new friend. Wow. Bullets everywhere. Where are the control sticks on this thing? You can always find some use for rubber scrap. Right between the eyes. Supposedly, mounts like that can smell fear. This is Guppy Grotto. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Feels dank down below the dirt. That's shutting good. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Just a few moves left. Make them count. It's darkest between the stars. Give it a little kick.
Veio palam uskos.
That seems to be enough guppos to provide the octopod with infinite ammunition.
Muutain bestu.
He's surprised the Merkpuff's been able to hold its breath all this time. It's just another proof of the evolutionary change caused by toxinol's contamination. Being undersurf has meant the merkpuff has been left alone to munch on the root down there undisturbed. This means the northwest route has suffered more damage than the others. He's sure there's enough time to confront the merkpuff, but he worries if the world has enough years left to last his lifetime, even if you stop the World Eaters. That was the last of them. You've sealed the fate of the tribe and the tree. It's time for the end game. You have your destiny. Follow it all the way back to Out of Date. He never told anyone about what's next, but he's sure it involves you. Just make sure you don't let anyone but yourself control your destiny. You've come too far for that. The tribe comes first. It's time to return to the tree one last time